Alrighty, so it is my pleasure to introduce Sara Maddox and Ben Blanchard, who are going to teach you how to table like a pro. Sara is an ecology and field biology major at St. Cloud State University, where she co-founded SSA at St. Cloud University in 2009. She is currently one of 3 very busy co-presidents there, and this is her 3rd SSA conference. In her spare time, she enjoys baking, playing with her pet rabbit, having outdoor adventures, quoting Carl Sagan, and reading about all kinds of science. She aspires to make the world a better place for animals as either a zookeeper or a wildlife rehabilitator. Ben is a senior biomedical studies major with a focus on microbiology at St. Cloud State, where he serves as one of the other very busy 3 co-presidents of SSA at St. Cloud. Ben aspires to make the world a better place by first creating plastic-eating bacteria, and then when he's done with that minor accomplishment, he's going to go on to become a pediatric oncologist. So plastic and cancer going down. Watch out for Ben. He also works as a senior consultant at St. Cloud State Technologies Help Desk, a tutor, a resident hall community advisor, and in his little free time, he enjoys absorbing random knowledge from the internet, friendly debates, and devout theists, doing science, and amassing nerd cred. So please join me in welcoming Sara and Ben.
Hi. Okay, so we gave a presentation very similar to this last year. That being said, because we want to be more awesome, also, here's our info. Feel free to tweet us. Apparently we say hilarious things, so do that.
Drawn by a theist, by the way.
Yes.
She misspelled atheist, I think.
Yeah, she does that.
That's how you can tell it was a theist.
Anywho, so we are doing doing it on the table, the hard version.
Yes.
It's important to note that it's harder, so it's like 10% better. So, yeah, you guys are getting the exclusive treatment.
And this year we're doing it biblically, the 10 Commandments of tabling.
Woo! Okay, now first it's important to note what tabling is. A lot of people think it's a couple different things, but the best way to think about tabling is that it's controlling your PR through a physical presence on campus. Is one of the most amazing, simple, easy, and free ways to get lots of people, to get lots of activity, and just be awesome.
Having a charter and being on a list is really not as big a deal as it sounds. Being at the student union every week is the big deal. Because people won't remember you that you're on a list. People will remember you that you were there handing stuff out and chit-chatting with them every week.
Okay, now there are 3 major components. You have to worry about people, discussion, and materials, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, sorry.
Which people should be tabling? You should be tabling. Everyone in this room should be tabling.
If you need more members, you should be tabling. If you have lit to hand out, you should be tabling. If you need to spread word about an event or speaker, you should be tabling. And get this, if you have regular meeting times to announce, you should be tabling. Who knew? It sounds like you should be tabling. If you are not tabling, you're doing it wrong. Commandment 1, thou shalt table.
If you don't need to be tabling, you don't need to be here.
That's
you might as well just leave.
Commandment 2, thou shalt table often. You cannot over-table. The concept of over-tabling just doesn't make sense, because you're just making yourself available to the community. You can never be over-available. As long as you have people who are willing to table, and they will be after a couple times because it's actually kind of fun, as long as you have people that are willing to table and who are good at it, have them table.
Even theists who don't like you will smile when they see you more often than they actually want to, because they think it's funny.
So, we have Commandment 3, thou shalt know thy tablers. Now, not everyone is good at tabling from the start, and not everyone should necessarily be tabling. There are a couple things that are really important. It's important to have a diversity of opinions. So if you have everyone that answers everything in the exact same way, who thinks the exact same things, people assume we're in a cult.
Yes.
Legitimately, it happens.
If it's all new atheists, or if it's all feminists, or if it's all skeptics, people are just going to get bored and confused and wonder why you're there if you all think the same thing.
It's also important to be very, very patient. You will be told you're going to hell. You'll be told you'll burn. You'll be told your family doesn't love you. You'll be told you were abused as a child. Really weird, random things. You'll be told that. And the best possible response is, that's interesting. Why do you think that is?
Also, they'll be asking you inane questions like, what room is it in? 5 times within the space of 1 minute. So you need to be patient for that, too.
There's also this thing that happens to where no matter how many times you explain what an atheist is, they just don't click. So you just have to be patient and be able to respond. You can do it. It's about patience. You need to have a basic knowledge of the group and the movement. Obviously, no one's an expert in absolutely everything.
But you need to know the mission statement.
You need to know the mission statement. People will ask, what do you guys do here? Just list off the mission statement. It's probably 1 or 2 sentences long, and that gives a very well-defined what you do. Then you can say, I really enjoy when we do this, I really enjoy do this. But if you give something besides the mission statement, people can get the wrong idea. So for instance, I really enjoy doing science advocacy. But if I reply, oh, we do science advocacy, it's not really getting the whole picture. The mission statement will supply the whole picture, and then you give more detail.
Yes, and after a mission statement, you want to list off your affiliations. Some of you are affiliated with CFI. Obviously, everyone's affiliated with SSA. You should at least get those in so that they know that you're not just this lone group. You're part of a huge movement.
You should be agreeable and or be able to pretend you're agreeable. You can be dead and rotten on the inside as long as you can pretend to be bubbly. Fake it till you make it. And even if you don't make it, just keep faking it. It's okay. And you really have to have a personal motivation and commitment. Because A, if someone has signed up to table and they don't show up, you can lose things, you can get in trouble. There's a lot of issues that can happen if they don't show up, or if they snap, or if they react very badly. You really have to make sure that the person who's doing this is driven for the right reasons to want to be tabling.
Yes, we've seen in our several years at SCSU several people table that should not be tabling, and that obviously we're only there because we needed an extra, pair of hands. And if they don't care, they really shouldn't be there. You don't need someone who doesn't care, and you also don't need someone that you've seen snap before, because it'll happen again.
Additionally, they need to be somewhat articulate. Obviously, we're not all Shakespeare, but if you can manage to pair someone who is very, very articulate and well-spoken with someone who's not, then they balance out and they make a much richer experience. But otherwise, you have to make sure that you have at least one person who can answer questions well. Now look at that wonderful, wonderful table. You can tell because they planned ahead. Now, planning, important in everything, especially in tabling. Because guess what? You're going to have to reserve space.
Space is one of the biggest issues that I see in other groups. They have a space and they're told they're not supposed to be there. Or they don't bother to check, is this space somewhere where we can be? Or how long are we allowed to be here? Your union is the best place to go. It's even better than outside, because outside you lose things and there's weather.
You also have to plan about who specifically will be tabling. Obviously, it's best when you have multiple people tabling at the same time to get a blend of personalities and tactics, and to make sure that, oh, this person is always staying up late. I probably should plan on having them tabling at a later time than the 7 in the morning shift when they're going to be late, and you might get it fine. It happens.
Have everyone's phone numbers and use Facebook.
Yes. You cannot over-communicate on planning and this sort of thing. You'll also have to fill out paperwork. You'll probably have to do some sort of reservation form, whether it be online or via actual paper.
The great thing about tabling is that it's free. If you have a charter, most schools don't care. They think, okay, you're chartered with us, you're entitled to use this space however long you want, and to use whatever space you want, as long as it's available. So just remember, tabling, you get tabling supplies from SSA, you reserve a space, all of this is free. This is an excellent event to do if you don't have a budget, which we didn't for the first 2 years.
Which is an issue. You'll also likely get some sort of storage space, or you can figure out some sort of storage space. You have to make sure that whoever is opening the tabling session knows where things are, and if you need to do any staging, if you want to make sure that this goes here, this goes there, just make sure to communicate and plan ahead.
If you don't have an office or a locker, maybe contact someone who does, because having things in the back of one's car or in one's dorm room is difficult. We all have our days, and someone can not be in touch, and you can be without all your tabling materials. So talk to your advisor, because if you can't get a space, you might be able to stick stuff in their office.
Also, become best friends with your building manager. I'm not saying bribe them, but I'm not saying bribe them. Legitimately, when you are friends with your building manager, everything becomes easier. Because chances are, if you table often, you'll at least have 1 or 2 people who think that you're Satan, it happens, or the devil incarnate, or weird things. And so if you're friends with the building manager, when they come in and complain, the building manager would just be like, oh, I've actually spent a lot of time with them. They're really awesome people. They gave me banana bread.
And remember thank you cards at the end of the year. If you've worked with the same building manager all year, just get the last meeting, get some signatures. Thank you for helping us, you know, be a successful group this year. We appreciate it.
Because your building manager is very definitely the link between you and your space. Make that connection as strong, happy, and pleasant as possible.
And the building manager will let you break rules if you want to, if you're good enough friends, which brings us to learning the rules.
Every school will have rules on what you can and can't do. Some of them are a lot stricter, some of them aren't. We're not supposed to give out food. Things happen.
Yes, we can hand out pamphlets, but we can't hand out pamphlets in front of our table because that's considered too aggressive. So all these little nuances, I can hand you a pamphlet from here, but not from over here. Just learn the rules, because the people that really dislike you will report you. They just will. And if they don't, they'll at least snicker and be extremely rude, and
it can become an issue.
It's annoying. And then the people who might snap might actually do it. So.
Yep. Commandment 5, the most important, thou shalt have supplies. Now, there is this really, really awesome, fun group of people who spend their lives making sure that you have all the materials you need. They're awesome people. So what you need to do is you need to complete the tabling supplies request form at this URL, and don't worry, I'll give you the link to the entire presentation at the end. Otherwise, you can just Google it, or just go on the website. It's really easy to find. Anyway, they will give you free tabling supplies. It's free.
It's a box. They ship it to you. And if you have, like, a organizations fair coming up, they have specific boxes for that. They have specific boxes and kits for different events and seasons. And just remember that you will end up paying shipping if you wait too late and they need to ship it to you really fast. I think I've done that with Liz about 3 times now.
So that goes into the planning ahead.
Plan ahead.
Additionally, know your lit. I'm not saying you need to know everything inside and out, but you should know approximately what everything is saying. You should know the gists. You should understand what the what is an atheist pamphlet is about.
Also, which people need which lit. Sometimes there will be like helping high school students, and there will be, you know, women's rights. These aren't going to be, you know, given out to the same people at the same, you know, at each instance. There will be certain pamphlets that are more acceptable for people, like the WIAs that JT mentioned. What is an atheist? Everyone should get one of those.
Everyone. It is amazing, concise, clear. It's awesome. Woo.
Also, our locker might explode. We have too many of them.
Yeah. Anyway, look at that beautiful, beautiful stand holding literature. Additionally, a banner. They give you a banner, and it's awesome because it very clearly shows who you are. Big. Ours is vinyl, and that means if it's wet outside, it's not an issue. It's just really, really amazing and an awesome service that awesome people provide. If you aren't able to get that, or if you lose yours, or if you're not a branded affiliate, you can make one or buy one. Markers and poster board actually look pretty good. You need a sign-up sheet. You absolutely need a sign-up sheet. You can customize it. Ours really just asks for your email address, and then we ask if there's anything, or if there's a specific person that you want to communicate with. But having a sign-up sheet, get them on a mailing list. That will encourage them to come. Then you have a new member who becomes a new president. That's how I became a member. Sign-up sheets. They're awesome.
Also, make sure that it's separate from any other smaller newsletters that you have. This is just an announcement list, is what we do. The sign-up sheet at the table is for announcements, and we make those only once a week so that people don't unsubscribe constantly. More than once a week, and you just start hating whoever sends you that email.
You need to make sure that you have a donation cup or bowl or box, something to collect money in. Because every once in a while, someone who is secular and atheist or his friends, it doesn't really have the time, energy, motivation, for whatever reason, can't help you, will be walking by and they'll see you getting yelled at by someone who thinks that the earth is like 30 minutes old. And then they'll be like, oh, and then they'll pull out their wallet and give you money. And it's awesome. It's a win-win because they're helping you and you get help.
And you prey on their guilt, just do it.
It's okay. Just do it. You need to make sure that you have handouts. We usually make ours 1/8 of a page. Obviously, you have a lot of variability in how you want to do that. The most important things is that you have contact email, where and when your meetings are, your name, and a logo. Something that makes you incredibly identifiable. Because you want to make sure that when they leave, they have something that so that they know how to get to the next meeting.
At the very least, these handouts are excellent because they only have the logo. They don't have any expression of worldview. So even if there's an extremely religious person there, you can still make sure they get something because all it is innocuous contact info. And if there's, you know, super hardcore atheists there, they're going to have your contact info. So not everything needs to have flying spaghetti monsters on it and, you know, expound our clever and witty ways of thinking about the universe. Some of it just needs to be who we are and what is our name. And everyone needs to have one.
Yep. And don't force someone to take it, just hold it up. And then people naturally take it. Even if they don't want it, they'll take it. We're polite. And giveawables. Now you might say, hey Ben, giveawables isn't a word. I will then ignore you because giveawables is a word. I made it a word, I get to do that, I'm wearing a sweater vest. Okay, now giveawables are a little bit different than handouts in that it's something that's a little bit more fun and it maybe has a little bit of flair. So buttons, awesome. Stickers, decals, anything from the Richard Dawkins Foundation, or my personal favorite, and as shown here, the Darwin Valentine's Day card.
This is actually during our Darwin Week, which is a great example of an event that is entirely centered around tabling. The week of Darwin Day, all of our events, except for the evening ones, take place at the table. We have Color a Transitional Fossil, Darwin and Other Scientist Valentines, birthday hats, videos, all this stuff can be done at a table with next to no cost, I think.
And it's amazing. And remember, I select you naturally. Okay, so we have Commandment 6, thou shalt have ideal demeanor. Sarah, would you please? Now, one of the most important things is body language, because it's a really small thing that can really screw you over. So, you need to make sure that you are inviting. Ooh. You are casual. If you look uptight, people think that you're like Mormonistic and you don't necessarily want to have that opinion. You want to be making sure that you're using open hands. So, studies have shown that if you're using open hands, it's okay. If you point, people think you're aggressive. It doesn't matter if you're saying, oh, I really like your cat, or oh, I'm going to punch you in the face. If you point, it's bad. So don't point. You can use open hands, or you can do what many politicians do and do the politician's fist. Ooh. So remember, don't use the finger, use the fist. You need to make sure to be relaxed. If you are overly tensed, people won't want to approach you. If you're looking relaxed and you're having fun, people will be like, oh, hey, what's up? Ooh, relaxed. And you need to make sure that you're using empathetic body language. So no crossed arms. You're using nice. Don't you want to talk to her? I want to talk to her.
Hey guys, what's up?
You need to make sure that you use eye contact, not this kind of eye contact. Use this kind of eye contact. Where you meet, each glaze for a couple seconds, and then you move on. That will draw people in because they'll feel guilty when they're not talking to you and you make eye contact. Prey on guilt.
Ben, if I'm way over there at that door, is that okay to start talking to me?
No. You want to make sure that you are approximately this far.
Before any verbal communication starts.
Because otherwise you're yelling and you're seen as aggressive. Don't be seen as aggressive, be seen as fun and friendly. Okay, also ideas. You need to make sure to stay positive. It can be difficult, especially when you're told everything that you're doing is wrong, you're going to hell, yada, yada, yada. Stay positive and the world just becomes an easier place. You make sure to use empathetic phrases. When someone tells you that, oh, you're going to hell, ask, oh, that's interesting. Why? Find out where they're coming from. Sometimes just having them say, I think you're going to be punished for all of eternity forever, makes them realize, well, that's an idiotic thought. You'd be surprised how easy just having them say what you know makes things easier.
And when they're talking about morality, it's always good to point out, I can see why you feel that way. And I feel that way sometimes too. Even if you don't, because all they're talking about is people trying to be good. So you can make it as general as you can and pretend that you're being on something just to get your foot in the door.
Also, ask, don't assume. You get annoyed when people think that you're a Satanist. Give them the same courtesy. Ask where they're coming from, because you might be arguing a point that's completely irrelevant. Just ask.
No one asked me what I believed until my senior year of high school. And even then, after I went to college, not many people asked me what I believed. And so having someone actually ask me, what do you believe about God, the universe, and why we're here? I don't know. As soon as someone explains it to you, and then they realize all these things that I kind of sort of believe are kind of weird, having them put it in words is much better than throwing stuff at them. If you simply ask what they believe and they start to try to explain how silly most of these things are that they're supposed to subscribe to, the conversation easily goes your way and you don't sound aggressive.
Okay, we have just a couple things to go over in a very short period of time. Use an even volume, don't yell, and oftentimes if someone is yelling at you, speak in a quieter tone. It makes them calm down. It's like superpowers. Also, you have to respect people. You don't have to respect their ideas.
Also,
this is a common
don't
thing.
tell them to calm down.
Don't tell them to calm down.
Sir, you need to calm down.
You need to calm down!
Sir, you need to calm down.
That happens. You also need to be a accommodationalist. Every event should be somewhere in between the two, but this is one of the few events that you have to where you can be an absolute accommodationalist. If you can't be, fake it. Totally okay. Every other event that we do between debates, panels, everything is confrontation. This is where we are being accommodating and friendly, and they become friends. You will get awesome results. You have 1 minute, Sarah. Newspaper.
Newspaper. So we had someone snap at tabling once, and the newspaper wrote an editorial about it. Someone said the English department is full of nitwits and their worldview postmodernists. They're just awful and terrible, and we don't like them at all. And that ended up in the newspaper, and we wrote a response to it. But also, from being out tabling, we had 2 positive, actually front page stories in our student newspaper, one about a debate and then one about Darwin Week, I think.
Yep.
So those were well publicized, and they were well publicized because the newspaper people saw us in the meeting.
Yep. The other thing is that you get awesome new members and you get a huge community. Our attendance, after we figured out exactly how to do tabling and we scienced it, doubled. We got non-members coming to our meetings and asking questions, and then they become members. It's insane. We actively convert people. And we stay connected. It's friendly. We're making awesome people. We're decreasing the stereotype that we're all angry, vicious, horrible people.
Because they can't say it if you're right there. They can say it if they never see you on campus and they only see your name in the list. But if you're right there, it's that much harder to diss them.
Also, you get to network. Networking is unbelievably important, especially when you're building a debate or a panel, and they don't want to. If you're their friend, they have to say yes. Having your enemies be your friend is the best possible scenario, because then you can make them do whatever you want.
Use guilt.
Always remember these things. Be early and often, have a presence, SSA resources are awesome, and keep it friendly. Also, hey, remember us. Jen, remember us. We know what happened. We're disappointed.
You were in her PowerPoint.
We did not. I know, so thank you. Anyway, so, Sarah, how important is stapling?
Extremely important.
Yay, she said yes. It's important. And that's what happens when you give me extra time on a computer. Do you have time for questions?